I'll do a little video about oil today. This is a 55-gallon oil drum. They're discarded and used for all kinds of stuff. I'm here in Raymond Ripkus Park, and they use them for, litter boxes, trash cans. The basis of the economy is the 55-gallon barrel of oil. It's early July, and today they were trading at $106 a barrel. This 55-gallon barrel of oil can be broken down different ways. A usual breakdown of it is 32 gallons of it will be turned into gasoline. 2 or 3 gallons will be turned into various grades of JP jet fuel, the different grades of jet fuel. They'll make like 9 gallons of asphalt, a couple of gallons of turpentine and naphtha, some diesel. They use it for, there's different ways to break it down. They use heating oil during the winter. They change the grades during the summer for the unleaded plus grades. That's why the price varies a little bit. There's going to be some keywords we're going to use on this that I want you to look up after we're done. Bretton Woods will be the first word. Second will be Gull Island. I'd like for you to look up the YouTubes for John Perkins, abiotic oil, and the petrodollar. At the end of World War II, it was agreed. There was a thing called the Bretton Woods Agreement where they discussed how the world was going to be run. And it was agreed that the U.S. dollar was going to be a reserve currency, and so they agreed that the U.S. would be the reserve currency with the proviso that they didn't print too many dollars. Well, that went all well and good until LBJ decided to have to pay for the Vietnam War, so he started printing up a lot of money, and to pay for it all. And the French started noticing it. They didn't notice it until the Nixon administration, and they wanted the silver certificates or gold certificates in exchange for the dollars that they had bought. And Nixon nixed that. Pardon the pun there. They were already pumping oil out of Alaska at the time, and so he sent Kissinger around. After they found this enormous find on Gull Island, they could have flooded the market, and everybody would be paying even less for oil than they were at the time, which wasn't that expensive, to be honest with you. This was before the oil embargo, but it was decided that by the powers that be, and you can call them the Illuminati, international bankers, it's the same names over and over again: the House of Windsor, Warburg, Schiff, Rothschild, Rockefeller. It's the same people over and over again. They decided to help the big plan that they have, which was outlined by Mazzini and Pike in the 1870s, to help further that plan along, that they would build up the little sheiks in the Middle East. So what they did was they said, okay, you guys are going to live literally like not just sheiks but emperors and satraps, and you just have to agree to buy some of our T-bills and export our inflation and our debt. So for every $100 you make, just buy $10 worth of treasury bills, and then we'll keep Gull Island's reserves, which are about twice Kuwait. That doesn't count the rest of the North Slope of Alaska or Anwar, which is a different deal. That's just Gull Island. So they kept it off the market, and oil started shooting up. We had a little embargo, a little hiccup. things went along, and anyway, that's what's the only thing keeping up the dollar now is the petrodollar, and we don't allow countries, unless they're a major power, to get off the petrodollar. If you'll remember, Saddam Hussein was once our ally. He got a little greedy, tried to take the oil in Kuwait, and we slapped him down. We probably would have let him stay in power, and we'd still probably be selling him F-15s right now, but he decided to trade in the euro, so that's when we went in there the second time to knock his ass out. If you'll remember, Muammar Gaddafi in Libya had given up terrorism. He was actually starting to become one of the good guys, you know, at least to the average person. He was giving out no interest loans to his people for schools and for housing, and he was building what they were calling the Great Water Project. He was doing some good things, but he made the fatal mistake of starting to trade not in dollars but in euros, and so we went in there and deposed him. And if you'll remember, the very first thing Hillary Clinton said after they deposed him and we set up something, she goes, "Oh, we've set up a central bank." And I bet the people of Libya are just tickled pink now that they have to pay interest on loans now for forever. There's hardly any countries left that don't have a central bank. There's a few countries that aren't trading now. Russia and China are starting to trade in non-petrodollars now. Not much we can do for them doing it, but everybody else, Iran's the only wild card left, basically, and you know their time's coming. I don't know if we're ever going to actually bomb them, let the Israelis bomb them. They may just their infrastructure is going to collapse to their ability to get the oil out of the ground in a couple of years, because nobody wants to deal with them because they're all crazy. But anyway, back to those agreements. A little aside on LBJ. He went to Washington. He was a millionaire, but he came out later in life, a few years later, a billionaire. And you can check all this out. He, when Lady Bird Johnson died a few years ago, up until maybe 2 years before she died, she was about a 8% owner of Halliburton. So the next time you talk about how the evil Republicans and Halliburton and Dick Cheney, yeah, and he is evil, and Halliburton does some bad stuff. But anyway, that's where he made his money too. Just like Al Gore with Occidental Petroleum. It was a little carbon tax scam. So anyway, every time you see one of these little, like I said, most time you see them now is trash cans. That's the basis for the economy, because you can't grow food without oil, because you got to have the oil to make the tires for the farm instruments. You got to have, it takes about 6 gallons of oil to make a standard tire, so a farm tire is probably 12. It takes basically 9 calories of petroleum to give you 1 calorie in your mouth. It takes to make all the fertilizer all requires petroleum. Basically everything we do requires petroleum. If another side note, if you ever watch the movie Dune, or read any of Frank Herbert's books, you know, if you really want to break it down how he thought it up, when you watch the movie Dune, every time they say spice, just substitute the word oil. Remember in the movie, the spice must flow, well, the oil must flow. Arrakis was a desert planet, and you couldn't fold space without oil, and you couldn't do the mind tricks without oil. Well, same thing, you can't produce plastic without oil, and you can't travel without oil. So, and you know, Arrakis was a desert planet, and it was a parable for the Middle East, and even the Fremen warriors on Arrakis were committing jihad, and they used all kinds of Arabic words in it. Anyway, that's my little spiel. Oh, one more thing. You're going to hear a whole lot about you've probably heard about peak oil. Well, there was a man named Hubbert, and that's what Hubbert's peak. The only problem with his mathematical assumptions, he didn't know about oil being abiotic. Not all oil is from dead animals. You can make oil out of dead animals, fossil fuels. It got the name for fossil fuels because of the La Brea tar pits and other tar pits like that. They thought, they'd find animals in there dead. Well, they don't realize the animals just slipped in there and died. They thought they were, created the actual pits themselves. The Russians dig ultra deep wells right now to get the oil out in the center of the continent. So I don't know how dinosaurs got down 5,000 feet in the middle of the continent. Or for that matter, the moon of Titan is all methane. They have methane rain there because it's so cold, and methane snow. There's no cows up there, chewing their cud and emitting gas to make methane. There is oil created by animals dying, and like at the mouth of the Mississippi. But there's also oil that is just naturally occurring in the crust. So look up abiotic oil also. So oil shale, abiotic oil, John Perkins. If you want to really go in deep, not all Lindsey Williams stuff is good, but he's got a lot of YouTube things. He wrote a book called The Energy Non-Crisis. I think it's in its 6th edition or something like that by now. And I'd like to thank, since we were talking about big oil, I had to bring out the big guns. I had to bring out both Batman and Mr. Spock for protection here. Make sure I got home okay, so no Valero attendant, threw coffee on me after a Spurs game. Thank you. That's it.